Good evening. My name is Daniel Young. I'm the owner and founder of Adaptive Perspective, and I'm still working on this new most updated version. I like better than where it has been, but I think it still needs some work. But I help you make your financial dreams a reality. I think that flows a little better than what it has been. These closed-end fund videos represent one way how we're going to accomplish our dreams or our financial dreams, right? And really, all of your dreams are financially linked. Uh, our closed-end fund portfolio is built on lasting dividends, not the gradual sell-off of own funds. So it's even if you reach that 1 million, 2 million projected amount, that amount is based upon you then selling off at least 4% of your portfolio, which it's really more like a 12% sell-off of your portfolio every year. Our goal is not that. We want a no withdrawal portfolio to where the balance stays intact, the principal stays intact, and then the goal is to retire or supplement a retirement through the dividends instead of slowly cashing out the portfolio. So if we target dividends and not the traditional 2%, 3% dividends, like I'm talking 9% plus dividends, which I'll show you here in a second. Right. So 9% plus dividends that we can then keep our principal funds intact and invested and then earn the dividends while we reinvest dividends or cash out the dividends. So how do we do this? Uh, we have a closed-end fund master, which I'll share my screen briefly. Inside that master, we have consolidated data, filtered data, our portfolio history, our existing portfolio with all the dividend payouts, as well as the data on the past four and normally 4 to 5 weekly strategy sessions. So reminders, this is an unedited video. Who knows what you'll hear in the background as I film these in my house. Disclaimers, see the description for the full disclaimers. The two that I'll mention here are that I am not a financial advisor. I prefer financial strategist, and that I don't speak like the herd. I'm pretty down to earth, pretty laid back. I walk in limited company, and sometimes I walk alone, and I'm okay with that. And I think I'm going to walk alone tonight. So let's get down to this. So let me share my screen. This is our closed-end fund master. It's got all of these tabs down at the bottom, but this is a list of every single closed-end fund that for the most part is color-coded based on interest. Uh, Orange if the fund has been recently liquidated or moved around, dark gray uh, based on these parameters. Light blue is what we own, purple is recommended by somebody, olive is what we track in general. And then the rules or the target rules, 3 asterisks is a buy alert. It's either double the historical discount, double the 5-year discount, or finally below premium. 2 would be a dollar cost average alert. And then 1 is just tracking. So and then the dollar cost average applies to really just our portfolio, right? And then tracking would be like this. There we go. So we own this fund and we're tracking it. Yeah, pretty self-explanatory. So if we take this data and look at those 3 asterisks, this is what it breaks down to on this tab. So these top 32, so 30 funds. And the best way I've found to filter things is we filter based on discount. So if there were premium, so like either 0 would be break even, but if there are positive numbers, we would take them out. All of these are on discount, which is why, and all of them are so all of them are discounted, but they're discounted based upon the individual stock or the individual fund versus, so like 38 is significant, right? But this is just as significant because it's related to this fund's data. So since they're all in historical pricing, how do you really separate the ones you should target? Um, it comes down to strategy and purpose. So for us, we've been targeting dividends of 9% or more. So this one would make the cut, but we're also not looking to add anything we don't already have. So that also takes out these others. So now these are all funds we currently own. If you wanted to see how well they're doing, you could come down here and you would see our entire portfolio, which you can pause at one point or another. This is our existing dividend history. This is the projected or the scheduled dividends. So just for this year, and then of money so far invested, and of the actual payouts based on this year so far, based on categories. You have monthly, alternate payments. Category one, this fund got liquidated, not by us. The company liquidated, but so be it. We sold Cuba. So then you have the running total for this year, last year's dividends, the year before, overall, and that data is reflected in this spreadsheet where that's our existing overall yield on the portfolio. That's the projected annual dividend, our overall investment. I just like to track how many shares we own, but then our overall dividend only return of investment or what we've made in dividends. Excuse me. So how do we filter? Truth be told, no one really knows where the market's going to go. I mean, I read a lot, so everybody's got their take, everybody's got their 2 cents, uh, but none of it really aligns with the other. The group that I like more than the rest is the contrarian outlook. I've said that before. Um, and without revealing what I pay for in the membership, um, let's see. Well, let's see if I would break. I would honestly, I will walk alone on this one. So if it's us, right? So we're not looking to buy any shares on Monday, but if it's us, where we would stick money on Monday, you could play the overall discount. So my goal has been to hit everything that we're keeping long term at 200 shares or more before we really try to hit other investments or other funds. Now, that's dependent on the overall discount. That's dependent on how much money we have at play to invest. That's dependent upon the cost of each of these funds, right? There's more that goes into that than just like making sure that this one, that one, that one, that one, they're all at 200. So you could play the overall discount. So for every dollar you invest, it's like getting 40% off, right? So now you're paying well, we're rounding, but you're paying 62 cents for every dollar invested. Uh, these are sister funds that their discounts have changed a little bit. They've come down a little bit, but not much. GLO and ZTR are moonshots. It's like riding a roller coaster. They will dip and they will climb, and they will dip and they will climb, and it happens about every 2 years. So you can hold them long term and kind of hold onto your seat as they decline, and then put your hands back up when they climb back up. You can buy them low, buy them low, sell them high, reap the fund dividend along the way. It really kind of depends up to you. Um, but where I would go, like if it's me tomorrow, where I would go is all of these are fun. Like I love all of these funds for different reasons. Portfolio on a can, business development, uh, biomech, biomech, oil and energy transfer, preferred shares, technology, real estate. It used to be just a senior loan company. Now it's senior loans and a huge chunk of closed-end fund on its own. And then you have the blue chip top 25, top 30 companies. Although they invest in a lot of other things besides that. So, gosh, for a while now, my goal has been to add more of this, to get both of these at 200 and then just park it and let it ride. And we did that here, and it's tempting to do it there. But there are funds that are more tempting. So let's weed this out. So you could do this, right? Bonds, great time to invest in bonds. Um, and I've done more than enough videos on HFRO. If you want to see those, look back at past videos. If you want the biggest discount, biggest value, uh, play the bond game. That's HFRO. But of where we are positioned right now, that's not our game. So I'll leave GLO on here for a little bit just to compare it. All of this stuff comes out. It's all great in its own merit. But the four funds in general that pique my interest. So you've got this fund, USA, BRW, IGR, GLO. We already have 200 of this, and it's tempting because they like the aggressive Fed, which who knows what the Fed's going to do, right? But it's tempting in that regard, but who knows what the Fed's going to do? The Fed could pivot and keep rates the same. They could increase rates another 0.25%. They could drop rates, which I don't think they're going to drop them right now. I would love for them to drop them right now. I don't think they're going to drop them right now. But just based on what we have and our goal to hit 200 across the board on long-term stuff, meaning like there are a lot of other variables at play. If we had two funds left and we were almost at 200 on everything, between those two funds, if they were at premium or they weren't that good of a deal, if we could find a better deal, we would still go with the better deal. I'm not going to sacrifice. I'm not going to commit to just hitting everything 200, not follow our own rules. That doesn't help. So that being said, these other three funds are still more tempting to me. GLO as a moonshot play, it is an incredible dollar cost average at the moment. It's tempting. IGR in real estate, like it's 99.7% of their portfolio is real estate. And the dollar cost average relationship based on our portfolio, that's huge right now. Real estate's down. I don't know when real estate will turn a corner. I don't know if it'll dip more, or if this is kind of the new bottom and it's gonna slowly come back up. I don't know, but the there are lots of strategies in how you invest. Ours is closed-end funds, and then you get into buying things at discount, but not just buying everything at discount, right? Because there's a lot of funds on discount. So how do you really know the better deals? So you look at the discount compared to the historical data for every fund, which takes time. But I like data and I like input, which is great for making these videos. So this fund, the historical data overall is close to -5% or -5, right? So 95 cents instead of a dollar. The 5-year discount is a buck. Well, not a buck, 1 cent, like 1 cent 0.3 or 0.013, right? And currently it's at 4. So that's 3 times the 5-year discount and almost the historical discount. That's significant. That's significantly different than a lot of other funds that are currently on discount. But the same can be said for these three. I like the USA fund. I've wanted to buy more of the USA fund for a while, but it, and I say a while, I'll go back and show you our portfolio. So I keep track of these things because it helps me reference what we've done. It also tracks my growth. The longer I research, the more in depth I do all of this stuff, I can go back and I can be honest in that we bought these when it was on discount because it's one of the funds that doesn't really sit in discount territory for long. So as soon as it drops to discount, it's insanely tempting because it rarely hits discount. But the discount it has now is even more tempting because it doesn't hit discount that often. And I've read two different groups push USA and push USA not for the short term. The stock market looks long term. And the majority of the investors in the market look long term. The reason we see the swings in the market are the brand new investors. I mean, whether they be old, middle aged, or young, those baby investors stick money in the market, hoping to make a lot of money in the market. And then they get this crazy news, or that crazy news, or this happens and that happens. And they freak and they pull their money out of the market. Right. And then you and I, the long term investors, are stuck to deal with the up and down of things based on those baby investors. The market looks long term. So you can make decisions now based on the data now, but you have to be able to track or at least somewhat project where things are going to go. Like, regardless of what happens in the world in the next 30, 40, 50, 60 years, what are the things that are going to matter then just as much, if not more so than now? Oil, infrastructure, right? Oil controls everything. Even if you think the world is going to go green, which I think that is a far cry. I think that has as much chance of sticking around as a fart in the wind. Okay, you can say EV cars, EV this, EV that. All of those things require power from a power plant that demands coal, nuclear energy, and oil. Okay, oil is central to this laptop, this mouse, my phone, your phone, that tablet, pacemakers, crutches, the technology in your house, the technology that runs your fridge, right? All of those things are oil byproducts. They do not exist without oil. So when we cut oil production, we're not just cutting the ability to manufacture gasoline from oil. We're also cutting the ability to manufacture all of these other things that are now central to our technologically driven societies. Okay, oil will be just as important 50 years from now as it is today. And oil didn't make my list because we're already where we need to be share wise on oil. If all we ever bought was oil because it'll be dominated 50 years from now, then our whole portfolio would be oil and nothing else. You can argue for that and against it. But of where we are, so there's real estate, there's bonds. It's a portfolio in a can. There's bonds, real estate. Um, yeah, I've listed out GLO and USA's portfolio in past episodes as well. So blue chip companies, real estate, portfolio in a can that's on a roller coaster. And lately it's been on the roller coaster down. All are great dollar cost average buys for us. All are great long term. This one has been heralded by two different financial advisory groups as an amazing investment for years to come. And I would have said that. No, I would have said that. But The thing is, the more I think about our portfolio and our goals are consistent dividends. And which you can argue that, I mean, quarterly, monthly, so long as you're getting paid consistently, like you're getting the dividend every time it's supposed to be paid, that's consistent. But we're trying to make a no withdrawal portfolio, meaning the principal balance stays in. You don't have to pull that out. But we're also hoping to have dividends be paid directly to us, right? So I get paid dividends, but if I had to, or if I needed to, I could pull those out. And the two disadvantages of this fund, as much as I love this fund, it's a dividend reinvestment program. It's an automatic dividend reinvestment program. So when they pay this, so we currently own, we can put in the exact number based on here, right? 61 shares. And it's this fraction number because these are and you can see all the fraction shares we've gotten from that dividend reinvestment program. So at 61 shares, that's how much we get paid every quarter. That number, so they pay us and then they take it back and it buys more shares based on that amount, based on the going rate. And over time, it decreases the overall cost to share. But we never see the money until we sell the fund. That's very different than these two funds, right? They pay differently, right? But these funds pay us every month and we see the money. They don't take it back, right? It's there. Now, you could argue that that's lower than that and that's lower than that. True. Fact. But we never see that money, meaning it gets paid to my account and then USA takes the money back, buys more shares with it, and it's never cash in hand. That doesn't go well with a no withdrawal portfolio where, so yes, the principal stays intact, but I don't get the dividend. Oh, I get the dividend. It reinvested in the company. Yes, but I don't get the dividend. So as much as I like the USA fund, as much as I like where it's going, as much as I like what they have in the fund, as much as I like all that stuff, it actually doesn't fit into our scheme, which is painful for me because I love that fund. Like that's really the like that's painful for me to admit because I like that fund. I like it because it has the country's name on it. I like it that it invests in this country. I like that it invests in those stocks. I like the dividend it pays. I dislike that it pays quarterly. I wish it paid monthly, right? I dislike the automatic dividend reinvestment program or the drip, right? I hate that. But the more I think about it, as much as people like the fund, as much as other financial institutions and financial strategy services like the fund, as much as I like the fund, the fact that I never touch the dividend bothers me. Because the whole point is, so if you had to have the money in order to meet a bill or pay a bill or pay your retirement or have cash on hand, whatever the reason is, right? And it said, you were like, here, you're going to give me, and I don't want your money, one. All right. So let's establish that. So let's say you gave me, if I'm the USA fund, right? You invest into me and I give you an amazing dividend. You put $1,000 in, it's currently at a 10% thing, right? So you give me $1,000, every payment you get $100. And I say, hey, here's that $100, but you don't get to keep it. I'm actually going to take it back and reinvest it in my company. And you're like, but I need the $100. Yeah, but see, we have this program where we reinvest it for you and it works out for you in the long run. But I need the $100. And we appreciate that, but you don't get to keep it right now. Well, then how do I get it? You have to sell your fund. You have to sell the company. You have to sell your shares. I don't want to sell my shares because they pay me a great dividend. Yes, but you don't get the dividend, right? That's dividend reinvestment program, where a company takes away your ability to reinvest the dividend or cash out the dividend based on what you want. And they do it for you, assuming that you would just go ahead and reinvest it into the company. That sounds great until you need the dividend. And as much as I love the USA fund, as much as I like what's inside it, as much as I have said in the past about how much I like the fund, the fact that I never see the dividend bothers me, because that's completely opposite of our financial strategy. Principal intact, it stays. Ideally, it grows. But we get paid the dividends. And you could argue that USA pays dividends. They do, but they never actually land in your pocket. And this is where I have to disagree and at some point probably sell a fund, because it does not line up with our financial strategy. So that leaves me with these two. And the better dollar cost average for us is real estate. But in complete transparency, so this is where we sit right now. This fund used to pay a higher dividend, but it decreased. Or we have this one, right? And we've taken a beating, but we've kept the fund. I have another column where you can see overall. So of where those, there we are. No, one more. So if we could buy 100 shares of GLO, maybe it would be a better dollar cost average. $467, so $1.26, right? But we won't see that full difference if we don't hit 100 shares. Versus 492 is $2 off. And I mean, yeah, if we flunked 150 shares down, we would get the full dollar cost average. Like, we would split the difference. But of where we sit, I mean, yeah, it's the 150, but this is the greater dollar cost average. And it hits us at 200 shares. And it boosts our overall yield. And it pays a fantastic dividend. And based on the current discount, oh no, based on the current discount, 12% doesn't seem like a lot compared to 18, but IGR typically hits around 10% discount. And it was a decreasing discount, like it was close to 6%. And then the recent oil scare, everybody goes, oh no, oil, right? And then it sends the discount back up as the stock price goes down. So for us, the best thing for us right now, if we were to invest in anything on Monday, would be this one fund, which is very different than what I normally do. Because if you see these other videos that are all posted on YouTube, I generally end up with at least 2 funds, and sometimes more than 4 funds. So is oil still a great investment? Yes. Is business development companies still a great investment? Yes. Are the sister funds still a great investment? Yes. You can kind of see the same thing. USA made the list. right? But based on us and our strategy and our portfolio, that's the best deal for us next week. If it's you and you don't own any closed-end funds, then I would pick well, I'd do one of two things. Either A, I'd say real estate is great right now, or I would pick the biggest discount. Last week it was 40. Let's see, it's been trending 40 for a little while, right? And now it's finally a little less than 40, even though it didn't stay on here. It's at like 38, but it's still pretty much 40. Right? But you're going to have to figure out your own strategy. But I hope I've explained our strategy and how we target things, how the discount matters, why we're picking the yields we have, and why I picked just this one fund for Monday. So let me stop my screen share. Normally I'd say those are the selections for the week, but it's really that's the selection. If we were buying anything on Monday, that's what we would buy. So if you like the content, consider subscribing to the channel, and then also head over to Facebook and join my group there called Navigate Your Finances. The link will be in the description. Remember, you're the captain of your ship, meaning you're going to have to make your financial decisions, and you're going to have to know your strategy, right? And when you do that, you create power because you can now actually decide what to do. You can filter out all the stuff, and you can make ideal best decisions based upon concrete data. Now, I could have picked IGR because it throws a great yield, or I could have picked it because it's below $5 a share, or I could have picked it based on what I think real estate will do long term, which that flows into that, right? But I picked it based on our strategy, but it didn't. It starts on the list, or it starts on the list because of the discount, and the discount based upon its individual historical data, and then filtered out based on yield, and then filtered out based on price, right? And then it fits into our financial strategy. So, gosh, as captain of your ship, you have the power to change your life and your financial future. Okay. And when you do that, now you actually have the power to influence how you accomplish your dreams, right? And all of your dreams, whether that's this specific car, this specific job, this specific property, this specific that specific that, all of that is financial based. And that's the whole thing. So that goes back to my why. I want to help you identify your dreams, but I want to help you make your financial dreams a reality. Maybe not just financial. I just want to help you. I want to help you make your dreams a reality. Right? Because you can write something down and it will exist on paper. And it's cool and it's fun to do that. Like we all have fantasies, right? But if you want to actually change that fantasy, that dream, right? Or change that dream from a fantasy into a reality, that takes strategy. And that's what I love doing. And I love helping people. And I would love to help you. Because if you notice online, why I make these meme videos as well, is that there are a lot of people out there who are offering help. And it may not be the help you want, and it may not be the help you need. But unless you get really good at filtering data, you'll never know if it's the right help for you. So as captain of your ship, you have so much power that you get to filter out all this other stuff. And I completely understand that this video fits into all of that other stuff, right? Because you get to look at all of these other people saying they want to help you, and then you get to filter all of that out. And then you get to pick the stuff that makes the most sense, right? Makes the most sense. It works. The strategy that aligns with your goals, all of that stuff, right? And then once you isolate those few people that you want to follow, then you follow them and you integrate their ideas into your strategy, right? And then you make an actual choice. So as captain, you have power. hey, all of this looks good, but most of it's crap. But I like this stuff. This speaks to me, right? I can do this stuff. I'm going to implement this stuff and I'm going to change how I do things. I'm going to change my strategy and adapt it like adaptive perspective. I'm going to adapt my strategy and I'm going to make an actual choice to do something about it. So as you go about this, whether it's the week, the month, whenever, your journey has already started. If you share it with somebody, it's an adventure, right? Now make it happen and shock your world. It is far easier to change your financial everything than society and most people at your job believe, right? Take some ownership, lead your crew, and go. So this is Daniel Young signing off. I will see y'all on another video. Bye-bye.